Hello world, good morning, or it's almost afternoon, still morning actually here, 9:39 a.m. It's Vegas time, so what time zone would that be there, Don?
Pacific time zone.
Pacific Standard Time. So we're here, we're doing this a little different here. We're actually heading to the airport, folks. We were busy, we had a good time, and we just kind of, the interview got away with us, but there's nothing wrong with us doing it here. I'm not driving, I'm holding the camera. He's not.
Yeah.
He's driving and paying attention to the road. But we're here with Don McCully.
Tell him the truth, Danny. You whooped me in pickleball my first time.
he wanted to show me the pickleball court that he has, a nice pickleball court around the corner. And I was just showing him the rules so he can go beat up on people. He's picking it up quick. Don McCully here with us. He flew this morning. Everybody, you have to know who Don McCully is. He's done so much for the MBRC and still does. And I told him that this morning on Facebook. I said, you know, Don, and again, this is not anything against our current Hall of Famers or past, whatever. He's a Hall of Famer, guys, for MBRC, and he still stays so active and motivated, the way he's always has projects that he continues to work on and come up with, and we appreciate that, along with, he's our publishing editor. And so anyway, I'm talking about him, but we want to hear from Don, so we're going to hear. So Don, tell us how you started. You know, how'd you get started with rollers?
Well, in 1993, I was, in the early 90s, I had exotic finches. I had some of the rarest finches. You couldn't even import them anymore. Mm-hmm. But we were moving, and I set up my aviary at my new place, and the finches were in my shed at my old place. And it was winter, and the power strip tripped, and they were all dead. I'm talking thousands of dollars worth of rare. Anyway, so I said, I'm gonna get some pigeons instead. You know, they can live outside. You know, and so I pick up
and
the
this
little.
Was where? And also
in
here
Vegas. In Vegas, yeah. And I pick up the little one ads. It says roller pigeons. So I go get 3 pair, and the guy has show rollers and some rollers. I don't know the difference. I've never heard of a roller in my life. Yeah. So I pick out the pretty ones, of course. So they're the show rollers. Yeah. And the guy keeps bugging me to buy the rest because he has to move. He's divorced. Anyway, the last bird I go get, the last batch of birds are all commie looking birds because people bought the pretty ones. And one had this Hugo Blast Band on it with his phone number. So I call Hugo, BRA89, B68 is the cockbird. And I call Hugo, and he says, that bird's stolen. I said, it's stolen? Really? He says, yeah, that was a gift to Doug Ouellette up in Reno. If it's in Vegas, it's stolen. So I call Doug Ouellette. He gives me his number, and Doug's all pissed because this guy down here was a show roller guy who bugged him for, you know, and he loaned him some old breeders, and the guy sold him out from under him when he got divorced. But anyway, that's how I got in the hobby. Yeah. And I met Doug Ouellette, and
so Hugo Blast used to live
in Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City.
Yeah, at the time. Okay. I went up there and visited him once. That's another story. But that's how I got in rollers. And I flew him for a year and a half. You know, Doug Ouellette told me, he sent me the Penson book, said read that. And that's my interpretation of a true roller, is what Penson wrote, inconceivable rapidity. So, and I had it. I didn't have all but you know the old Penson Ouellette birds, you know the quality that's there. And you know, but if you pet your dog, you're gonna miss, you know, they were pretty seldom. You're gonna miss some of the good breaks that you might see. Right. Anyway, so then I got the competition bug, met Randy Gibson, CPRC, went down on the fly and crossed him with the John Jones to bring out the frequency. And nothing against John Jones, but the quality went to hell. And anyway, I'm committed to the Ouellette birds for life. You know, I can't do them justice. You know it's there. Look what Mark Ritter, Don Ouellette first, then Mark, you know, did, you know, do with those birds, you know. So that's how I got started in the mess, you know. Yeah, it's just become a way of life. I don't even know why, you know, or how. My wife says it's all destiny, and you went back and got that last pigeon and it had the phone number on it. What's the odds of that, you know? So anyway, that's how I got started. Yeah, that's a short version.
No, and so
I've
again,
been addicted ever since. It's in my blood now.
And we, you know, we appreciate again what you've done with the area, you know, and getting the guys together, you know, in Nevada overall and stuff. And is there somebody, you know, with that timeline that you want to give a shout out to that helped you
I'd
along
really
the
have
way?
to say, first, I just wrote an article in the Bulletin that's coming out about the history of our region, and that's Glenn Van Ruckel in County Alley. He's the one that started our region, despite a few stragglers that are still here, and a guy that's no longer here that thinks he started the region. Glenn Van Ruckel did it. He got us flying with Utah in the World Cup when we didn't have a region, and he got our Region 14 started. So good shout out to him. I haven't talked to him in a long time. And when George Rez moved here from San Gabriel Valley Spinners, he's the one that started our Pensum show. Okay. And we used to pay. George and I both paid for 4 kits, 2 in our name and 2 in our son, and we flew them. Mm-hmm. We paid for 8 of the 10, 12 kits, so we'd have a region. So shout out to George. Randy Gibson I met in 95 was my first show at the Pomona Feed Store. You sit on the hay bales. I'm sure those guys remember those days. Yeah. And I met Randy Gibson, John Vanderbroek, Tim Decker. Ended up spending the night at Randy's, flew pigeons the next day. That
nice house with the pool up there at the...
No, that wasn't that house. That was his house when he lived in Norco.
Okay.
It was a nice place too, but it wasn't as nice as the one on Lake Matthews. But yeah, and we become buddies since, and I just... Yeah,
well, Don, we
not really no other real mentors. I just sort of
appreciate everything you do. And look, while we're at the light, I want to go ahead and it's honored, man, to get you this awesome looking coin here.
Oh man!
And remember that's a challenge coin also.
Look at that.
Only qualifiers get that, and it matches that shirt he's wearing there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, shout out to Brian McCormick's the one that designed this.
That shirt there?
Yeah, he designed the World Cup logo.
The logo?
Give shout out to Brian. He's not only a great roller flyer, but he's a great artist and just really a great guy. He's a master at everything he does. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
There you go.
That's nice.
Yep, a little casing there for it.
All right. Oh, cool.
I appreciate
Dwayne White's I'm shout out to Dwayne White.
He created the coin.
Yeah, Dwayne's really stepped up the game with this stuff. This is nice, you know, and the shirts and everything. Shout out to Dwayne White. He's he's doing a great job with that treasure job. And one thing I want to say while it's on my mind, we always have to remember, nobody forces us to do these jobs. We do them, but there can be some frustration, and you can take it out on the hobby sometime or the negativity. But you just, all the friends I've gained, and I wouldn't have them if it wasn't for the roller hobby. It's a way of life, so you stick with the positivity, and you remember, no, you put yourself in those shoes, so you wear them, and you wear them like you're supposed to. Look what Danny's doing, publicity director, letting the hobby know what's going on with his live stuff, and just it's just a great opportunity. A guy asked me yesterday, what benefits being president, doing all that stuff? I told him, hey, I met you because of the NBRC. I probably wouldn't know Danny or be talking to a lot of you guys if it wasn't for the NBRC. And it's not a perfect club, but it's as perfect as it's going to get for a bunch of roller guys.
Well, you guys make it easy for me. I mean, the current judge and judges in the past, when you're receptive and always looking to try to make us comfortable. Yeah. So I mean, that makes it easier for me, as long as things are okay back home, is what I tell people.
Yeah, that's
I'm happy because
important, And the first time I was fly director, I felt I was inconvenienced a lot of the RDs, but they're all willing to step up and do what it takes. It's a brotherhood and some sisterhoods. But the support you get from all the RDs and everybody is
absolutely
amazing.
And that's a good.
People don't realize. Danny knows the amount of flights that aren't missed on these trips is amazing. Amazing. It's amazing how well the travel does go. Yeah,
a little bit running sometimes and sweat, but for the most part.
Can't pull. Farrell busing, good guy.
Yeah,
most know Farrell. He used to tell me, Don, I don't always get the wheelchair, but if I'm late, I got my ACE card. I get the wheelchair, man. I go right up to the front of the line. I don't think Danny can pull that off.
Can't do that. No.
Anyway. No, but it's all fun and it's great to.
Hey, but you mentioned something. You mentioned those RDs and all of those, and I want to give them a shout out, because everybody's been great. Whether you're an RD or somebody that met me or somebody that's putting in, any type of, effort to help. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been involved since '95 in the NBRC, and right now it's at its best since I've been involved. As far as my opinion, the officer we have, the way the club's going, the fellowship the bar has gone way up on the fellowship the last last several years. You see it when you go on these events. It's our local club is peaking now. It's all brotherhood instead of a club.
And for a lot of different personalities and characters that we have, that's a good thing to try to maintain. That it's not always easy, but guys, the pigeons bring us together. So that's all about the birds. And
we're all individuals. We're all quirky. We all got our own things. Somebody, hey, that guy's a little weird. Yeah, well, we're all a little weird. I mean, what's weird? If we're all the same, it'd be no fun. You got to have you got to have your steady guys in your region, and you got to have like a Mad Max in your region. A great pigeon flyer, but Max vibes on the internet, and Marlon that we know here, a good guy. I'm not bad mouthing the guy, but he's a character. Max. He loves that stuff. But you got to have that in your region. You got to have diversity, man. There's diversity in this hobby, and the only prejudice I've ever experienced or discrimination in this hobby is what family of birds you're flying, and if you're flying color birds. I have never experienced any other kind of that.
Nope.
And that's what we want to get away from. That's what the hobby's about. You can deal with that in the real world, but the hobby is our getaway.
It takes us. That's right. Takes us to our zone.
It's therapy.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to finish this off here.
Right.
And then, hey, thanks again, Don. Congratulations
Danny,
for making it to the finals.
Thanks for folks for listening to my Johnny Red always told me, Don, I like listening to you, but you're too long-winded. The late, great Johnny Red, another suspender guy, Farrell and Johnny. But yeah, Danny, you're doing a great job. Everybody is. It's, again, I'm a serious competitor, and I want to get my lifetime. I want to win a championship, but it's not top shelf anymore, man. It's what we're doing now. It's just such a... I got to meet guys in my club I've known for 15 years I knew nothing about. We did our show at Johnny Isabel's. I didn't know the guy. Now I know Rabs, Rab Rollers. You met Rab today. And I know him now, I don't never ask nothing. My wife says, is he married? Does he got any kids? I don't know. You've been hanging out with that guy for all these years and you don't even know if he's, so she's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right, folks.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks again,
Thanks much.
Don. All right.
Danny's going to run out of battery.
All right, guys. Bye.